tail rotor. Tail rotor's weak. Tail rotor.
Nice. Nailed it.
He's crashed. See, I love that shit. Helicopter's crashed now.
People dismounting. One pilot. Squad is my most played shooter, and I've clocked about 1,000 hours on this game both whilst it was on Steam and before it even made its way to Steam in early access. But it's not perfect, and with the introduction of modding to Squad, the idea fundamentally was that we were supposed to create our own versions and variations of what we wanted to see from this game. And when people talk about Squad, they talk about those really great moments of intensity and those really incredible team play moments that keep them coming back. You know, nobody keeps playing Squad because it's a running sim or because you're, standing in the open for 10 minutes not fighting people. People play it because once you have one of those team play moments or one of those intensity moments, you'll always come back. You know exactly what you're getting, and it's something special. It's like the Battlefield moments of the past that Battlefield used to have. Once you experienced one, you wanted to play it again and again. So what if you could make Squad a more intense experience with better team play dynamics? Well, one YouTuber and his modding capabilities, and I believe he even has a modding team now, has done exactly that. Now you guys will know if you've watched any of my Squad content that I'm a huge fan of Karmacup. He's a really great Squad creator, and if you're looking for more Squad gameplay generally, I really recommend following him. And he has decided to put together a mod called Dynamic Direction. And this mod aims to do exactly what I was talking about, increasing the intensity within Squad, making it less of a walking and running simulator, and increasing team play dynamics. So what does this mod do? Now, in traditional Squad, you end up fighting over objectives that are often very heavily spaced out. And the result of that is you kind of get this wrestling gameplay of trying to get people off the flag, but if you lose a spawn or you lose multiple spawns, it doesn't work out. And there's never really a push-pull dynamic, I don't feel. I feel like Squad often ends up having really intense moments and then complete silence in between. So the Dynamic Direction mod changes all of that. Rather than having multiple flags or multiple capture points, there is one AO, or area of objective. And this is an occupation zone that spans very large parts of the map, but not too large a part of a map. So you may find yourself fighting over a mountainside, or you may find yourself fighting over an urban district. There's definitely a large area of capture here, and all of it is critical to the gameplay. In this AO, you need to achieve a 6-man surplus of people on the objective capture in order to begin burning tickets. So if you're on a conventional force side, you need 6+ players in order to start capturing, or consider the AO to be under your occupation. Same for the non-conventional forces. So rather than this flag system, you end up having to control an entire territory, which means that initiating fire missions against certain spawns, or dealing with different offenses and defenses becomes really key. For example, if you look at this map example they've used in the mod, it would be super critical to make sure that you have the high ground within this AO, and super critical to make sure that nobody else attacks that mountainside and that you lock it down. This puts more emphasis on building mechanics in the game, more emphasis on team play mechanics in the game, and definitely far more emphasis on intensity, which is something people want to see. Now, to even join this server, you need to be using your microphone, and the standard of team play on this server is unlike many other things you'll see on Squad. This mod also introduces more asymmetrical gameplay, so conventional forces like the British Army, American Army, the Rangers, Russian Ground Forces, and MEA work entirely differently from irregular forces like the militia and insurgents. For example, conventional forces are limited to one FOB at any point in time, which is worth 75 tickets, and this is revealed to the enemy after 15 minutes with a large red circle, and that FOB can be anywhere within that large red circle. The idea here is that these FOBs are meant to be bases that are built up and defended, not just random team-wide spawn points. These can only be destroyed by deshoveling the FOB and cannot be destroyed by using conventional explosives. Irregular forces, on the other hand, are limited to 3 caches at any time, which of course are spawn points, and can only be damaged by IEDs, C4, or incendiary grenades. This is the idea that the militia forces and insurgent forces are guerrilla forces that don't necessarily have, all of the abilities of a conventional force and all of the optics, but do have superior mobility and better spawn options to make them more troublesome at any given time. There have been a few other changes as well. For example, stamina regeneration has been increased by 300%, but the total stamina of the game has been reduced by about 20%. Falling damage also no longer causes bleeding, it just reduces your overall health. Revive times have also been changed and healing times have also been changed, and suppression saturation has been massively decreased as well. The suppression mechanic entirely has effectively been completely overhauled. Helicopters have some buffed health now, which will create more survivable crash landing attempts. There's also been a few other changes. For example, you can no longer see other blue players on the map other than your squad mates and squad leaders, as well as friendly vehicle icons. So you won't be able to see exactly where all of your teammates are, and certain markers and pings have been restricted as well. And the overall UI has been completely reduced and shrunk to give you a more interesting and more immersive experience. There are a load of other changes as well, and general changes to tweak the game to be a little bit more asymmetric, more interesting, and provide more of that intense experience that we're talking about. More of those experiences where something that you see in Squad is something you're never going to see in another game, so you're just going to keep playing it over and over again. Now, I think this is probably one of the best mods to come to light in the past couple of years. These AOs are only revealed partway into the game. I believe it's about after 10 minutes. And I think this is such a super cool idea that really presses the overall idea that Squad should be a really holistic team play experience that focuses a lot on intensity. A lot of people play the invasion mode in Squad because it's literally just non-stop firefights, non-stop action, non-stop enjoyment. And I think people want that experience, but without the problems of people camping on specific objectives or building up objectives to be hugely impossible to counter in any way, shape, or form. And I think this is just the best way to approach Squad gameplay. My time in Dynamic Direction wasn't the longest, but honestly, it didn't need to be. It already revealed to me that this was the way forward in the grand scheme of things. And I think Karmaka and his team have done a really fantastic job of highlighting all the things that Squad is really good at in one mode, whilst taking away the things that Squad isn't so good at. If you're somebody who enjoys Squad gameplay or likes the idea of Squad, but has struggled with the pacing of the game, this ups the pacing quite substantially. More team play, more action, more variety, and honestly, fighting over some of these AOs is super important. In one of the games I played, we had one squad who were primarily focusing on defending the FOB, which they'd built up quite substantially, whereas we had another squad that was looking for a tactical defensive position, was holding a hillside, and really doing well on that front, while sending another squad to go and flank and outmaneuver the enemy team. So you have this interesting dynamic where you have both attacking and defending within the AO, and you need certain squads to really go out there and be on the offensive and try and deal with some of the insurgent forces or other conventional forces. And in comparison, you have this other really cool dynamic where you can really dig into the AO and really sit tight and just make this place an absolute meat grinder for anybody who steps in it. And in the urban environments especially, the AO mode really shines. Now, Dynamic Direction is available to anybody who owns Squad, and I'll leave a link for it in the description down below, as well as a link to Karmakut's channel. Again, really fantastic Squad creator. I really highly recommend you check him out, and him and his team have been doing really interesting things on the Squad front, especially in terms of creating new mods. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.